Hello, people of YouTube. This is Gray's Guitars, and thank you for watching. Today, we are going to be talking about the worst condition Gibson Les Paul I have ever seen. I apologize in advance if the audio is not as good as it usually is, because I am having to re-record this at this point in time because for whatever reason it didn't work the second time. So I have the capture, but I don't have the audio, so I am redoing the audio. So I'm going to just be viewing the audio and the video that I previously filmed, pretty much just the audio and video rather, and trying to match it up with about the time frames. And now this is a 1980s Gibson Les Paul, and it's rough. It is really rough. So right now we are going to compare it to the Tornado Les Paul, which you think, oh, a guitar that went through a tornado? How bad can this possibly be? It can't be worse than it, right? I mean, look, the friggin' headstock is broken, the neck is shattered, it's missing a knob. Let's scroll down here to see. That's the finished product. We are looking more for what happened beforehand. But if you look at the back of this guitar, I mean, it's mainly the neck. That's the major issue. Nothing's cracked. You're not missing a lot of wood. This is just going to require a replacement neck at this point in time. So now what we're going to do is we are going to take a look at all of the different pictures on this thing and just see how terribly, terribly awful this thing is. Now, I have never seen a guitar as worse as this. This was water damaged, if you're wondering the cause of damage. My guess is that it was probably put in a basement that was very damp and or got flooded. It had a large amount of items on top of it, and then it was just forgotten about until somebody eventually dug it out, saw it, thought it was worthless, saw the name Gibson, Googled it, thought, hey, maybe I can get $100 for this, even though it's a giant turd burger, and we'll take it to a guitar shop, see what we can do. Or the guy himself that is selling this found it in his basement or possibly his parents' basement and is like, yeah, somebody will bid money on that. And the short answer is yes. There are people, yeah, you can see the extent of the water damage there. The top is really, really messed up. I believe the top on these is solid mahogany. I could be wrong. It might be a maple cap. I'm not 100% sure on the construction in the 80s. Usually the customs, they were typically solid mahogany. They did not get a maple cap. Actually, looking into that control cavity real quick, there's definitely a top on there. I cannot tell. I'll be honest with you. Let me know in the comments if this is actually a maple cap or a mahogany cap, because I am not particularly familiar with the 80s guitar. I mean, the neck right there is just gone. This is definitely a replacement neck. I don't even know how. I've never seen something break like that before. It's just ridiculous. And this is the worst part. It's literally missing a giant chunk. My guess is the water damage got so bad at this point that the wood probably flaked off. If you ever go out in the woods and like find an old wet stick and try to pick it up, it just kind of flakes and falls apart in your hand. That's probably what happened, and my guess is they just took off the flaky stuff, got down to where the wood was actually hard, and there you go. That screw is never coming out. That is going to be a plier and yank the crap out of it job. Inevitably, unfortunately, that is going to be really rough to get that screw out. And then just looking at the back, it's all scratched up. It's kind of funny because if you look at the neck doesn't look that bad a condition compared to the rest of it, minus the crack. Like, it's still shiny and kind of new. And you look at the rest of it, it looks like it was just played to crap, which might be a good thing because this might end up turning into an excellent player guitar, providing somebody can restore it. And it's just rough. I mean, it's rough. You see right there, the price right now is $311. I'm probably not going to show you this until tomorrow, until after the fact, being that I do not want anyone to bid on this besides me. Because if I decide that this is going to be my problem, and I need to find somebody that is willing to fix it, then I want to get this as cheap as possible, because this is going to cost a couple grand easy. There's no way somebody's going to fix this for less than like $2,000. Because number one, you got to take the entire neck off. Stainless steel frets. Obviously, if I'm going for it, I'm going for it. I'm not going to be buying vintage original parts. Like, I can't afford it. Tim Shaws, which originally came in this thing, are fairly expensive. And for somebody like me, it's just not worth it. I mean, it's something where it's never going to be original again, so you might as well go for it. The biggest downfall is I wish this had a serial number or we knew what it was, because then you could just restamp that into the back of a new deck. Unfortunately, I guess you could just put a random serial number on there that fits in with the 80s category, but inevitably you're never going to know, because it's based on the serial number for the guitar. It's only in one spot. It's on the neck. I don't believe it's in the cavities. I don't think if you take off the neck pocket, you'll be able to find it. The pickups do date it. Now we're going to take a look here at the price of a 1980s Les Paul Custom that is basically your average price. Nothing that is beat to crap, something that is reasonably priced. And as you can see, $5,000, $6,000, $4,500, $4,600, $4,900. There's a I guess you could technically, if you wanted, you could do the Jimmy Page thing with the 3 pickup, but yeah, these sell by the looks of it right around between $4,000 and $5,000. You can get probably a good deal would be $4,000. More looking at $5,000. If you wanted to go out and buy a 1980s Les Paul Custom today. Now, the thing to know about 80s Les Paul Customs as well is they're heavy. They are very heavy instruments. So this thing is not going to be light. You're going to put a new neck on it. They're going to have to graft on some more mahogany. And even if they do that, it's still going to be heavy. The reason we know this is an actual 1980s Les Paul is because this did have electronics in it that the seller actually took out. This Slappy's Vintage. If you can see there, we have the husks of the pots. The control cavity is very rusted, probably not working. And if you can see here, we have the Tim Shaws. So this is the 1980 Tim Shaw pickups. Now, I'm not familiar with how to identify these. I'm also not familiar with whether or not these are going to work. Based from what I'm seeing in the pictures, they look like they will work. They look in decent condition. Am I going to spend $600 on pickups for a guitar that I spent $400 on? No. I would probably do something. I mean, Fishman Fluence wouldn't be bad to throw in there. EMGs, they were popular at the time. The Marzios, also popular at the time. There's also a couple other parts I believe that this seller has. I think they got, you got the husk here. If we're scrolling down, it looks like that's probably the case that it was in. So that is probably the extent of the water damage right there. It just went straight through the case. So my guess is this thing was probably in a flood. That makes the most sense to me. There was something heavy on top of it that snapped the neck. Why they didn't keep the other part of the neck, who knows? There's a pick guard for it if you're looking for the vintage pick guard. And I think he has more control cavities. I think they have the control cavities here. Let's see here if he's got the plastics for him. Yeah, he's got the plastics for him too. Which, yeah, it's too much money for plastic parts. You can buy those brand new for a decent price. The knobs, I think he has as well. As we keep scrolling down, let's see if I actually show them. Maybe. Let's see. Am I going to show the knobs? Doesn't look like I'm showing the knobs. But as I said, the parts that he's selling to me aren't worth it. I would not waste my time buying the vintage correct parts because it's never going to be correct again. This is never going to be worth $6,000. Minus maybe the story, because you're going to have to completely put new wood on this, completely graft on a new chunk of wood right there, redo the binding on both sides, get a new neck, frets, leveling, crowning, make sure the logo is correct, all new electronics, all new tuners. Electronics and tuners for decent ones, you're looking at $200 to $300 just for that. Same with, with probably all the hardware combined, it probably could be pushing $400 because you want a nice bridge on there. You want nice electronics. You want nice pickups. You want a nice nut, maybe like a brass nut. I was thinking on this, locking tuners. I think golding this out might be a cool idea. Do the gold tailpiece or brass. I love brass. Listening to it, I've played it on one or two guitars. I don't have it on any of mine currently, but yeah, let's just take a look here. So neck is missing, headstock part of the fretboard, body, lower section, water damage. There's big chunk missing in the back. Not going to sugarcoat this one. Really poor shape. A serious project. Please see all pictures. Guaranteed original Gibson item. Otherwise sold as is. No returns on this item. No case. Dates to 19. So this is neck and body only as seen. Strap buttons. Yeah, the rusty strap buttons. This would get strap locks too. I'm not going to deal with that nonsense. Most of the guitars that are my main players that I have that I'm holding, if I'm playing them consistently, usually have strap locks or some sort of other, like a washer system. I think I have on one of my guitars where you put those little rubber washers on it, and they're not going anywhere. Your straps aren't falling off. But yeah, I think gold hardware would look nice with this. I mean, you could also do chrome. I might keep it with chrome. There's something about a chrome Les Paul Custom. You just don't see it every day. But yeah, Trainwreck Les Paul. I don't think you're ever going to see one as worse as this. I mean, this one went through a hurricane. If the other one went through a tornado, this one had to have gone through a hurricane. There is no ifs and buts or coconuts about this. It's just a mess. I mean, what are you going to do? You got to find somebody crazy enough to fix this thing, and you might break even on it. But this is something, honestly, I don't think I'd be able to sell it. If I knew someone put a bunch of love into this, just having the story behind it, that it got massively water damaged out, the amount of work and love and attention to detail that would have to go into this. I mean, the plus side with this one is it's going to be black. So, I mean, the neck, maybe flame maple, because it was a 3-piece neck. I wouldn't mind doing like a 3-piece flame maple neck on this thing, and then doing like a transparent black so you could see through it. I think that would look really, really cool on this particular guitar. That would be really, really nice. But that's where we're going to end it. My name is Steve Gray. This is Gray's Guitars. Thank you for watching, and as always, have a good one.